people of Bangkok, how are you this evening? Yes, I am tickled pink to be here with you tonight. Oh, goodness. Well, I should probably let you know a little bit about myself. I'm originally from the USA, the southern part, Georgia. Is anyone else here from Georgia? You are? How did you get out? We usually don't get out of there. What part of Georgia are you from? Buckhead? Okay, it's Atlanta. That makes more sense. Good for you. Well, welcome. Well, you're probably familiar. You see, in the South, we have some funny sayings. For example, if I'm misbehaving, my mama might say, "Hey, stop that, or I'm going to jerk a knot in your tail." You see, in the South, we have tails because of the inbreeding. But other than funny sayings, my mama also told me to count my blessings. So I have a gratitude journal. Does anyone here have a gratitude journal? Yes, I heard a whoop. What's the last thing you wrote in your gratitude journal? Getting what? Getting to this talk show? Okay, welcome to the talk show, everyone. All right, yes, okay, I'm glad you made it out. At least that's what I heard, I'm not sure. And as for the rest of you, no gratitude journals? My mama's probably in heaven right now looking at all of you thinking you're a bunch of ungrateful bastards. I'm joking, there's no heaven. But I do wish that there was a heaven, because I lost my mama last year. That was rough. She fought an autoimmune disorder for 10 years. She fought it so hard, but at the end, it got kind of grim, and she would call me up and she would say, "Christy, I don't want to go on anymore. I don't want to live. I want to go to Jesus. I'm ready to die." But every time my little sister would hold the pillow over her face, she would fight back so hard, which I think is horrible because it feeds into the stereotype that women are indecisive. No, she laughed at it too before she died, so it's okay. My mama raised me quite religiously. I remember when I started my period, she gave me a thick pad to use because she said that tampons are for whores. But as I got older and I went to university, I really wanted to try a tampon. So step number 1, I became a whore. Step number 2, I bought a box of tampons, and I took one out, and I shoved it into my petunia. Oh, mercy me. I don't know if you've had the devil's cotton finger inside of your pleasure center, but it is not nice. So I yanked on it to get it out, and that hurt worse, because what they didn't tell me is that you can't do a tampon as a dry run. I know, I blame my parents for being related, that's why I'm not smart. But there are many things that I'm grateful for. I recently took a flight. I got the middle seat on the airplane, which meant not only did I make 1 new friend, but 2 new friends, thankful. Also at night, when I lay down on my back to go to sleep, I'm grateful that my tits keep my armpits warm. And I'm also grateful that in all of my years of making love to different people of different backgrounds, not always safely, lots of different people, I'm what society might label a giver. And in all of my years of giving, I've never once gotten pregnant, never. Now some of you might be thinking, "Hey Christy, you might be barren." Well, first off, thanks for remembering my name. And secondly, maybe you're right. Maybe I can't have children. But I think it's probably due to a special technique I've developed for when a gentleman's making love at me. You see, You see when a gentleman's making love at you and he's promised to pull out, and we all know how gentlemen can be forgetful. Right before he's about to spill his seed into my chrysanthemum, water my rose bush, contort his face in a way that makes me thankful I have sex with my eyes closed. Right before that's about to happen, I just yell, I want a baby! And just like that, every time, no baby, just a sticky back. Thailand's amazing, the beaches are amazing. Well, most of them. I went to a so-so beach recently, and I was swimming in the ocean when a diaper went floating by my head. I was like, oh, that baby did not make it. But I have a lot of friends that will come and visit me here, and they get confused by some of the customs. For example, a friend was quite excited to get a professional massage, because back in the US, they're quite expensive. So she went in and she asked for an aromatherapy massage, and the Thai masseuse, she said, okay, take off all your clothes, and then she handed my friend a pouch, and then left. So my friend took off her clothes, she opened up the pouch, and she pulled out this cloth. It was a mesh cloth with 2 holes on it. She held it up to her face, and she was like, I can breathe through this. So she put one hole here, she stretched it across her face, put the other hole here, sat up naked on the bed. When the Thai masseuse came back in to see my friend wearing the disposable underwear on her face, she laughed so hard that she called for the other Thai masseuse to come and see. My friend did not find that professional. Another custom thing they get confused about is the squirt gun in the toilet, and we all know what we're doing with it, right? Yeah, well, hopefully. But my friend said, is it to clean the floor? Is it to clean your feet? And I was like, no, it's to clean your secret garden areas. And they were like, oh, well, how far in do you put it? All the way. Japanese toilets, those are the best, are they not? Oh, I love me a Japanese toilet. The seat's warm, and not because someone was there for too long. There's a whole panel of buttons on the side that do different things. However, as a lady, I have a few issues, because I find when I press the button to clean my flower, water shoots into my booty hole. And when I press the button to clean my booty hole, water shoots onto the small of my back. You know, where the gentleman finishes. And I started to worry. I'm like, am I anatomically incorrect? Are Japanese women's gardens more thinly placed on their body? And then I thought about it. Who's making these toilets? Japanese male engineers. And probably the closest they've gotten to the female anatomy is from the pixelated pornos they're watching. So they're just doing their best guesswork, so good for them. I do love Japan. The first time I ever left the USA, I didn't have enough money to travel. I had to get a job. And I found an ad. And the only requirement was to be a native English speaker. And I'm like, oh, that's me. So I replied, but turns out they wanted me to teach it, and well, pronunciation is not my forte. But I took the job anyway. I had a lovely time there, and I remember a friend said, would you like to go out with one of the Japanese guys? I'm like, well, I would love to. So she set me up on this date, and we went out. But when I met him, he didn't know any English, and I knew So I was trying to think of what we could do, and I was like, biru for beer, and bukkake. Just to find out who the perverts are in the audience, and apparently everyone. No, I didn't say bukkake. He didn't have that kind of money. I said karaoke. And so we sang and drank, and at the end of the night, I gave him a kiss on the cheek, and then he left, and I didn't hear from him for 2 days, because he was busy learning some English to impress me with. I know, right? Oh, so 2 days later, I got a knock at the door, and I opened it up, and there he was. And he looked he looked at my tits, and then he looked into my eyes and said, sex. Then after that, I came to Thailand. I came with the Peace Corps as a Peace Corps volunteer. If you're not familiar with the Peace Corps, it's the USA's version of soft colonialism. And then after Peace Corps, I moved to Bangkok, and well, dating here was a lot more difficult. I did not have Japanese men knocking on my door asking for sex, no. It was harder, so I got on the dating apps. I got on OkCupid, because I'm older. This was before Tinder was out. And if you're unfamiliar with OkCupid, you're young. So in order to match with someone on OkCupid, you have to answer a lot of questions. And at first they're fairly simple. They ask, do you smoke? Do you like horror films? But as you continue, they get so weird. And one question that I'll never forget said, if you're in bed with your lover, having the best sex of your life, and they ask you to squeal like a dolphin, it's a real question, will you? And the choices are A, yes, B, no, or C, fill in the blank. So I thought about it, and then I typed, depends on where my face is. So I made a match. And I went out with this fella about 4 times before I brought him back to my place. One time, you know I'm thirsty. So I brought him back to my place, and we were making out, and 30 seconds into the makeout session, he had my top off, he had my bra off, he was sucking on one breast, and on the other one, he was doing this Danielson maneuver. It was such an aggressive wax on, wax off. I don't know who it was supposed to arouse. I didn't know what to do, so I swept the leg and I finished him. Oh, it was hey, silver lining, no more nipple hair there. But now that I'm in my 40s, I've become a cougar, and dating's so much easier. And if you don't know what a cougar is, it's an older woman who goes out with younger men. But I have to be careful, because I do also teach at a university here. I won't tell you which one. I want to keep my job still. But the other week, one of my students came up to me, and y'all, it was so awkward because he was flirting with me, and I knew that he wanted to sleep with me again. But I do think it's important to bond with your students, and I do tell them that I do stand-up comedy. Sometimes I like to practice jokes with them. So I said, hey, do you guys know what a cougar is? And they said no, so I fucked them all. Oh, goodness. Would y'all like to hear a one-liner? Thank you, because I'm going to tell you one, and I have a microphone. So I like pranks, and I think it would be really fun if I was a pilot on a commercial airline to get on the announcement system and say, "We're going down," and then just land the plane. I think if I were a pilot in the USA, it would be fun to get on the announcement system and do everything in Arabic. Because of the racism. Oh, you guys are awesome. I'm having the best time with you. Y'all are wonderful. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Are you guys ready for the reason you're all here? Yes? Because I'm ready to bring her out too. I love her. She is amazing. She's so talented. She's so hysterical. So please give it up for that lovely,